Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Tom Sawyer Show here on HBC TV 25, brought to you by Wellington's Pub and Grill. I'm Justin Barrientos, and as always, I'm joined by head coach Tom Sawyer.
Yeah, I took a little shot in the head. I'll blame my son on it. He moved back to town and kind of beat me today at lunch. So it's the way it goes. It's a rough place out on the island.
And it's on tape, so that's true.
Yes, we got to make sure he knows.
All right, it's actually game week, so you've been waiting for this for quite a while. Coach, this will be your 22nd opening day as a head coach. Others before that as a player and as an assistant coach. Do you still have the same kind of feeling for opening week that you've had in the past?
Absolutely. Probably just as much now as ever. It's just we have so many fun things happening in our programming. Obviously, expanding our game day experience. The community is much more involved, and we want, it's something I've been dreaming about for a long time. We're working on some stadium, redevelopment kind of things, and there's a lot of things happening within football. Expanding our scholarship opportunities. I mean, so right now it's a really up time for our program. Coming off an 8-3 season last year with losing a couple really close ones besides. So we're poised to make another big run, and I'm really excited about that. So 22 years in, it seems like it was yesterday when we first started. But really excited about this upcoming season.
All right, you talked about the game day experience. I wanted to get to that, so since you mentioned it, let's go into that.
Sure.
It's going to be a completely different atmosphere around Warrior football this year. Can you kind of explain what the game day experience is all about? Yeah,
game day experience really came from ideas that we shared around athletics and supporters and our Football Players Association, which is a new alumni association for former players, families, and so on. And really taking it from just tailgating in the IWC parking lot there on Main Street. We're taking it to Jefferson Street, and we've included the alumni office, the foundation office, athletics, student senate, the UPAC group on campus. So we're trying to get an opportunity for people from small children to advanced adults to enjoy a game day experience, both before the game and then also during the game as well. So our team will come right down Johnson Street, about an hour and 15 minutes prior to the game. We'll have food trucks and businesses will have tables out there. Our clubs from our students will have all kinds of games. We'll have jump houses and so on for the children. And then our FPA, our Football Players Association, will have a big tent there too. So the game day is really changing and for the better. And I know you guys are going to be there and other associations around our community. So very, very excited about that, to bring the whole, more of a festival type atmosphere right on the campus.
We'll actually be doing our pregame show right there on the lawn, on the mall.
Yep.
So that'll be very interesting to do. You talked about the fact that the team is going to walk down about an hour 15 before the game. It's called the Warrior Walk. You've done it in the past where you make your way to the football field, but this is going to be a little bit different. What do you want the players to experience, to feel? What experience do you want for them as they make that walk to the football field?
Well, the biggest one is not to stop at the food trucks, to keep moving. But really what I want them to experience is a Division I level feeling about playing the game. They work so hard. And they got a thrill for years walking down Main Street. We've done it forever, and that's a part of game day to them. And now we're actually coming down, it'll be a mini parade. We'll have Wazoo out there, and we'll have little kids some games behind us. We'll have the dance team, cheer team, invite guests, all kinds of different groups, Maury Miller football kids. I mean, all that stuff to share in the day with our players. And at the end of the day, it's a football game. But before and during and after, for everybody else, we want it to be a festival. So it's really ramping up the level of importance for our players and for them to really have a memory that's unbelievable.
All right, let's talk a little bit about your prep for this week. How has practice changed this week, or how do you think it will change this week compared to the couple of weeks that you've already been in practice?
Well, the last 10 days really before we play, on Thursday night, we've really been prepping for just Bemidji. Part of the other parts of the practices, you're kind of looking at the first 4 games, let's say, and make sure you get everything installed. Then go back and focus just on Bemidji. So we're really focused on them, their tendencies, what they do, how they may play us. And our game plan has been in place now for, like I said, the last 10 days is all Bemidji prep.
All right, so plan is in place. Do you have your starters completely set, or is there still some spots that might be up for grabs in practice?
Well, there's still a couple spots. You're still working with a couple kids that might be dinged up a little bit and, limping around a little bit, but usually about Wednesday, it's a miracle. Those guys all get healthy. But more importantly, we still have a couple battles, and I think that's healthy. We have a lot of kids that can play. A lot of kids have gotten tons of reps that maybe aren't the traditional starters. The guests we have today are going to be starters for us. We know that. So 90% of it is done. We'll make that final decision after Tuesday's practice, and that'll get us ready for Thursday night.
Have you had any surprises in practice? Anybody that has really stepped up during the summer that you weren't expecting this year?
Yeah, I think a couple of them. One would be Trey Tellez. He's a true freshman. He's had a great camp. So there's a couple freshmen like him. Sam Santiago Lloyd is another. He's a running back, along with Eric Berth and Javian Roebuck and Landon Jacobson. So there's battles going on, but those guys have really stepped up. And I think some kids at in Nick Pridge in those linebacker positions, David Smith is starting to play really well, and a couple guys in there that people didn't really hear about them that now are showing up, and their maturity is really starting to show on the field.
All right, I want to ask you about what I've kind of heard is the slogan for this season. Last second, I believe, is what you're going for this year. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Well,
last second really comes from the last 2 years of playing Augustana. We got at home 2 years ago. We had the kid sacked, and he threw up kind of a alley-oop to his buddy and beat us with 1 second literally on the clock. And that stung us. And then last year we went down there and got beat on the last play of the game in a Hail Mary that, it's controversial. We thought the kid caught, we thought Cam Johnson caught the ball in the end zone and felt like that one got taken away from us. So, and then we used that for off-season the whole time. As last second represents, do that one more rep in the weight room, do that one more extra work in the summer, do that one more piece of studying and game film. So do that last piece, which will get us the last second into our favor.
And how has the team kind of embraced that? I know that I've talked to a couple of them, and they mentioned that's a big thing for them. Yep. Have they kind of rallied around that concept?
Yeah, they have. In fact, I sent out some text during the spring and summer and just said, show me where you have it, because I asked them to put it someplace so they can see it. And I'll just use Zach Olstead. He's got it in his truck, in his car, and he's kind of got it all over the place in his locker or whatever. But and I challenged a few guys to see if they had it, and they did. And so they're bought in. Our kids are all about taking care of each other and doing things together, and that's just one piece.
All right, as we said, Bemidji State will be the opponent. That'll be a 6 o'clock start on Thursday night at Maxwell Field, and we're getting ready for it. And it sounds like you guys are ready already.
Yeah, I wish it was here already. I can't wait. It's going to be unbelievable.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Tom Sawyer Show, and when we come back, starting quarterback Darren Benkin will be here right after this.
There's 5 things
Did he show up?
about the economy, healthcare, sports, education, and respect for Tom Brady. I am inspiring America. You and I have a lot in common.
Like this.
Yeah. To be interesting, you've got to be interested. I'm not trying to be relatable. I'm elevatable.
Colin, you're on fire.
I may have just changed the entire world.
What's a Southern girl? It's waking up before the sun rises. It's loving the simple things in life like the dirt roads that lead you home. It's working hard to get what you want. It's hanging your own stands, breaking your own ground, and strategizing every little move for that one moment when everything you've worked for is standing right in front of you. Even if I fail a million times, I keep pushing myself till I'm exhausted, filthy, and about to give up. And that's when the adrenaline hits.
Hey guys, Tyler Florence here. This season, the Great Food Truck Race is headed way down south. 7 teams navigating culinary roadblocks.
Are you freaking kidding me?
Serving hungry crowds in a race to victory. Are you ready to roll?
I'm ready. Are you ready? I don't think they're ready.
Wow. We may start in the Big Easy, but it's a long road ahead.
All new, Sunday night at 9, the Great Food Truck Race on Food Network.
Truck, yeah!
What the heck is going on? What is the low files? My 2 boys and I were looking for UFOs.
We know you're out there.
Underwater alien bases. Bigfoot, America's secret space fleet. Poltergeist.
What the was that?
If you took Anthony Bourdain and Scooby-Doo and put it in a blender, you'd get the low files.
Ever wish you could just swing by the local office to pay your bill quickly rather than calling a toll-free number and speaking to a machine? When you join the HBC family, you get that and so much more with local office locations and customer care. Whether you have general questions or would like to upgrade your services, HBC is here in your community, providing an unrivaled personalized experience. Switching is easy and installation is free, and we're so sure you'll love HBC, we offer a 30-day guarantee. Visit hbci.com to learn more or call 888-474-9995 to experience the HBC difference.
And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show here on HBC TV 25, brought to you by Wellington's Pub and Grill. And Coach Sawyer, it's kind of been a tradition over the past couple of years. You bring in the starting quarterback first show of the season, and that continues here today. Yeah, Darren Bankin, welcome. Glad to have you here. We're pretty excited to get this started. We've been talking about this for 4 years, and here we are. And like I said to you the other day, I don't want to have more confidence in you than you do, but we are really excited, and really for all the people out there, we have a great quarterback ready to roll. And Darren, good luck on your first day.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Tell me how you feel about it.
Oh, excitement through the roof. I mean, like you said, it's been a long time coming. It's been every day for 4 years. I've been preparing as a backup, preparing to be a starter. So for finally this day to come, it's just all the hard work, everything I put into it, it's all going to come to fruition come Thursday night. So I'm beyond excited.
Awesome. I want to ask you, how does that change? I mean, like you said, you've been preparing the same way for the past 3 seasons, and now it's all different. Does your game prep change any going into Thursday?
Not for me individually, because I've always studied my opponents as if I was a starter. That was one tough thing being my jack for 4 years, was I had to be prepared to go in on any down, any moment, because you really never know when it's your chance. So for me, the process is going to be the same. Mindset's going to be a little bit different because I'm the one in there. So I'm really excited. I just can't wait to show you guys what I can do.
All right, what does it take mentally to have to sit on the sidelines and come in basically cold whenever it is that you came into a game the past 3 seasons?
Well, for me, it wasn't necessarily be cold because you're in the game constantly. Your mind's always watching every play. You're giving tips to Jack, the guy who's in there, because he's seeing some things that maybe you don't see necessarily in that position that I see from the sidelines. So for me, I'm constantly in the game mentally. So when my number was called, and when very rarely it was, I was ready to go, and I stepped in and did what I needed to do.
You know, I think one of the biggest things is leadership, and you know, I talk about it all the time. And when we have great leaders on the team, as we've talked, and you know, your leadership within that offensive line group, I know is a pretty special bond between the guys, and you live with some of them. And tell me about what that's like when you're the tall, skinny guy hanging out with the big fellas. What's that like?
Oh, well, those guys up front, I mean, those guys are my rock. When things were tough, you know, decisions that, you know, were made and weren't made between, you know, Jack and me, it was tough for me to sit behind and just watch.
Right.
But those guys, like, they were all playing at the time.
Right.
And that's what was really even tougher, was these are my best friends. And now, I mean, even when I got my number called and I went in the huddle, I looked those guys in the eyes. I mean, we knew it was on. We knew it was a party in our huddle. Like, it was, there's a bond there that I can't explain. It's really tough to put into words. But the fact that I get to be able to share the field with them now as a starter come Thursday night, it's a blessing, and I'm really grateful for those guys.
You know, you got those other seniors too, the guys that you came in with, or even Zach, who's still a year older. He's like been here for 8 years. But you know, you take a look at that group that you came in with. A lot of those guys are still here and still playing. What's it mean to you to lead the entire group of seniors, and because we have so much on the plate for goals?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's a lot of pressure on my back to perform at my expectations, but also at their expectations, because those guys, I mean, they've put in hours and hours, thousands of hours into this. And another name, Mike Imperiale, defenseman. I mean, when I came in as an incoming freshman, as a recruit even, he was the guy that I met on my official visit. That's the guy, that's why I came here, was because of guys like him, the guys that I met. So for me to be a leader of that group, it's an honor, but I'm more than ready for it. And for me, it's just going out and showing what I can do.
Yep, absolutely.
How do you think you're going to balance your emotions? Because I understand that a lot of people from Farmington, friends, family, classmates, whatever, everybody that's supported you all these years, they're all going to be in the stands, and they're all going to be cheering for you. How do you make sure that you're still level at the start of the game?
Well, for me, it's all about the preparation that goes into it, like we talked about earlier. If you're mentally prepared for what you're going to see, it's all like game's just going to come to you. Emotionally, it's going to be hard to keep it in check, but you're going to see some excitement and you're going to see some emotions flow out there because it's been a long time coming. I'm excited to show what I can do, and I'm also excited for what we're going to accomplish. So you're going to see some emotions out of me, one way or the other, excitement or disappointment. You're going to see it out of me because this means a lot to me.
The last question I have for you, Darren, is getting into the Bemidji game, and they're ranked 25th in the country. Like I talk about, rankings really only matter at the end, but they are ranked. They're a top defense. What do you think the Winona State Warriors have to do to really get after the defense from Bemidji State?
Set the tone up front, set the tone in their secondary, because they have a lot of guys that like to talk, and they think they're the best defense in the conference. Well, I think we're by far the best offense in the conference. There's a lot of knowns with that team. There's a lot of unknowns with our team. We're under the radar as far as the media goes, and I'm excited to show them that we're comfortable in that position, and we're going to show you guys why you're wrong.
Okay,
so.
Good.
All right, Darren, thank you for joining us, and good luck on Thursday.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break here on the Tom Sawyer Show. We'll switch to defense. Nick Pridgeon will join us right after this.
Would you get in it?
Would I get in a 1,000 horsepower go-kart that you built? No.
Nuts and Bolts is a show describing how everything that I think is awesome is made. How close are we to time travel? From what I learned, I'll make something from it.
Yeah. Oh, hell no.
Bring on the most opinionated guys in the game.
Everybody's a critic. Everybody gets an opinion.
We used to respect wisdom. These young people today don't.
Add a few friends.
We got 6 Super Bowl rings here between the 4 of us.
And go all in.
I'm tough to block, my man. Sometimes I hit a little hard. Did you forget that? Man with the hat.
Before the game, get the truth.
Move on, please.
Speak for yourself. Weekdays at 5 Eastern on FS1.
And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show here on HBC, brought to you by Wellington's Pub and Grill. Tom, as we said, we're going to switch to defense. We're at a linebacker with you.
Yeah, Nick Pridgeon's with us today. Nick, thanks for being here, buddy.
Thanks for inviting me.
Appreciate it very much. First of all, Nick, let's go right to Bemidji since we finished that in the last segment. But what does our defense have to do to stop one of the best quarterbacks maybe in Division II football? But what do you got to do?
Well, we have to lock down the secondary, and we have to keep them in the pocket. Those are the 2 biggest things. And if we can do that, we can keep them scoring.
You know, obviously last year we had 3 shutouts, which is huge, and we were the #1 ranked defense in a couple categories. But Nick, your role as one of the older guys, now even though you're only a junior, but your role is huge. How important is it that you guys all mesh together from the D-line to your level at the linebackers to that secondary?
Oh, the importance is it's very important. Mm-hmm. And that's for the reason of communication, because if we aren't all on the same page and if we're not meshing, we're going to fall apart and they're going to gash us. So the importance of us bonding is very up there, probably one of the top things. So,
sure.
Yeah.
When you were on the show last year, we talked about the fact that you had changed positions. You had to gain a little weight to play linebacker. You had to figure out how to work all that in college. Mm-hmm. What's your goal this year? What are you trying to work on this season?
#1 goal is All-American. I think I have the athleticism to do that, and really it's just going out there and playing. You know, last year I felt a little restricted because I wanted to do my job, make sure I didn't let anybody down. But this year, get to let loose and play my game. So
as Coach said, it was a big year for the defense last year. 3 shutouts, led the NSIC in defense. Does that cause some kind of shadow on the defense to have to try to figure out how to do that again, or do you just go out there and play your game?
We're just going out there and playing our game. You know, we have different leaders on the defense, and we have a different defense overall. Lost some players last year, so there's a shadow there, but at the same time, it's also good because we have that culture that we developed last year as a defense, and it's kind of, drifting into this season, which is a huge thing. But yeah, we're a totally different defense, and we're just going to go out there and do our own thing.
You know, Nick, we talked earlier about SAC behind the scenes a little bit, and the student organization within all of the athletes, and you represent with a couple other guys our football program. You went to a SAC summit, met athletes from all the rest of our conference schools. You're involved with our leadership team. You do a tons of community service. That's kind of the model of what we want a student athlete to be. How difficult is it for you to be a student athlete? Plus, you're getting ready to graduate with honors. So how do you do all that?
I don't know. To be honest. I wish I could tell you the secret, but honestly, it's just a lot of hard work. And when I want to take a nap, can't really take a nap because I'm either volunteering, doing homework, or trying to be a better leader in the community. So honestly, I don't have the answer, but I just go out there and try and give back to the people that give to me. And really, the thing that's in the back of my mind is making my family proud, and try and do that with all the actions, and whether it's on the field or off the field.
Yeah, excellent.
I want to ask you kind of a personal question, and Coach, you can weigh in on this too. The roommate situation. You're roommates with Will Clausen, one of the wide receivers. How do you figure, or do you figure roommates? Do you assign them?
No, we assign them when they're freshmen. After that, they're on their own. And sometimes that doesn't even work. But and sometimes we assign guys that are together for 5 straight years. So I don't remember who we assigned first, but we try to match them up like defensive kids together by position so they have the same schedules. After that, they find their own friends and find their own way. But I don't know how you ended up with Clausen. A guy from Mankato, we'd really got to keep an eye on him.
Yeah, you do.
Because he's just like you.
He is. He honestly is. And same with Elliot Cox. We're, all 3 peas in a pod. But yeah.
All right. We talked about last second is the slogan for this year. What does that mean to you, and what does that motivate you to do this season?
Well, it stings. 2 years in a row, it was tragic. So really, the motivation this summer was, putting in that extra rep, like Coach said. Thinking about that last second. Like, honestly, I want that to happen again, and we have the ability to, beat them and beat every team in the conference, and we just have to, treat every rep like it's the last second, because you never know when you're going to go down, when the game's going to, end. So really, the last second doesn't just, represent the last second of the game, but it represents the last second of every play, pretty much.
The last question I have for you, Nick, is as we get ready to talk about the Warrior Walk and all the stuff around it. Justin asked me what I thought about it, but from the players' perspective, what do you guys think about all this stuff we're doing?
Well, I think that, and as a group too, we think that's pretty cool. Like you said, it almost gives that D1 atmosphere, and I think that's going to be really exciting. The fans do a lot for us, and this Warrior Walk is going to enhance their experience, but at the same time, that's going to rub off on us and give us more energy, get us more hyped up for the game. I think that's going to be a great, home field advantage.
Okay, stay away from the food truck.
Are you sure?
Yeah, no, I'll be there.
We'll have cameras there too, so we'll catch you. Nick, thank you for joining us here today.
Thanks for having
Good luck
me.
on Thursday.
Thank you.
Appreciate it,
All right,
buddy.
we're going to take a break here on the Tom Sawyer Show. When we come back, we'll talk about this week's opponent, Bemidji State. That's right after this.
What's a Southern girl? It's waking up before the sun rises. It's loving the simple things in life like the dirt roads that lead you home. It's working hard to get what you want. It's hanging your own stands, breaking your own ground, and strategizing every little move for that one moment when everything you've worked for is standing right in front of you. Even if I fail a million times, I keep pushing myself till I'm exhausted, filthy, and about to give up. And that's when the adrenaline hits.
NASCAR racing is about a whole lot more than just cars going around a track. It's about people who drive, people who engineer, people who plan, people who know how to put it all together. Meet the people who make the cars go round every week on Raceline. Watch Raceline here every week.
Northland Outdoors is about so much more than the biggest fish or the hottest hunting spots. All across the Northland, there are amazing people with incredible stories to tell. We're going to find those stories and share them with everyone. Join us each and every week as we explore the Northland and experience some of the most exciting outdoor adventures in the country right here in our own backyard. This is Northland Outdoors.
And welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show. Time to talk about this week's opponent, and it's Bemidji State. And we heard a little bit from Nick and also from Darren about what they're thinking about as this week approaches. How much film have you been able to watch on Bemidji, considering it's going to be a new team this year, different than last year?
Yeah, you spend, we have all the games, from the last couple of years, and so there isn't really any secrets except what they're going to put in this year. And like Nick said, every year is a little bit different team. although they have a lot of returners. They got 8 back on offense and maybe that many on defense as well. But they have their stars back. They lost a couple of their top receivers, but they have great athletes right now. They got a great program. They deserve, they won the bowl game last year. There was 4 of us that were 8-3, and they got to go. So it was a good opportunity for them to get one more game and a little bit more practice. So we know it's going to be a dogfight, and they got a good thing going up there right now, and it makes our league stronger, and we're excited about that.
I understand they have a mobile quarterback, something that might cause you a little bit of problem. How do you attack that?
Yeah, he's a big, strong quarterback. A little bit similar to what people are used to seeing when we saw the quarterback from Sioux Falls the last couple of years. Big, strong. This kid's a little more athletic, Hein, and he can throw it. He can run it. He's as dangerous out of the pocket as Nick was saying as he is in the pocket. And so we're going to want to put a lot of pressure on him, and we want to see him squirm a little bit if we possibly can. But he's seasoned. He's been starting for 3 years, and he'll come in here with a lot of confidence, so we have to try to disrupt that.
What has your scout team been running in practice, or what are you going to do this week with the scout team?
Well, the scout team stuff, we try to emulate as much as we possibly can. The way that they play, the first down stuff, the second down stuff, and situational football, what has been their tendencies, because a lot of their coaches are the same. Even though Coach Bolte now is the head coach now, different, but he was there for quite a few years, and he does a tremendous job. So we have a little bit of tendency stuff that we're going to bank on, and then from then, we got to adjust on the fly. That's the fun part about going into the first game. You can plan all you want; it could be completely different on game day. So our communication with our players and our staff at the beginning of the game is really critical.
I kind of ask this every season when you have a night game, but it's a 6 o'clock start, so you're going to be under the lights for most of the game. Does that do anything to the team to make it a bigger game, that it's a night game and under the lights?
Well, kids love night games. I mean, they played that all the way through high school, Friday night lights. I mean, it's a huge national tradition. And then college football game day, starts early in the morning, but the best games are at night. Mm-hmm. So as they're going through the kind of the process, Sunday night football in the NFL, Monday night football in the NFL. So night games are a big deal. They're fun for our players, and it's fun because they can spend some time with their families and that kind of stuff throughout the day. But and it's tough to travel and play them. It just is, because you're sitting around a hotel the whole day. So we feel like it's a little bit of an advantage playing at home on a night game, but it sure is fun.
We talked about the game day experience for pregame things. Is there anything else within the game that's going to be different this year?
No, I don't think so. I think the way we've been doing it, we've been kind of doing it for 22 years that way. There's a lot of traditional things that we try to do. We eat at the same time. We go to the field at the same time. Try to build in routines for players so there's no surprises. What we're doing within the game, we got the same people calling the offense, the defense, the special teams. So it's to have that continuity on our staff is really important. So our communication is set. We're just kind of ready for game day because it's going to be exactly the same as it has been the last couple of years.
All right, and the last question, you've had luncheons before during the season to give people a little bit more insight into Warrior football. Do those continue this year?
Yeah, we're going to continue them starting on September 7th, the Thursday following the first game, and we'll have them every Thursday at noon at the Riverport like we have for years and years. And great opportunity, one, to bring players there, get them up in front of some businessmen and women around the community, and to just to talk a little bit. We kind of pick on each other a little bit and have some fun. And but what a great opportunity. We give the kind of the recap of the game before and kind of a pre-game view of what's upcoming. So it's a fun time. They do a great job over at Riverport, and we're excited that they're part of the program.
All right, Coach, thanks for stopping in, and
thanks,
good luck against Bemidji.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, and thank you for joining us here on the Tom Sawyer Show on HBC TV 25. We'll see you next week.